we're going to be talking about the opportunity stages that we have in Salesforce. And this is an area that we have covered with training with some of our other offices, and we were actually on site for many of you over the summer when we first rolled out Salesforce Lightning. So a couple of things I just want to touch on before we get into the training. We've had some questions from sales managers and also from some sales reps over the past couple months about where should an opportunity reside within my pipeline. So we've noticed just in doing some analysis that everybody's done a very good job of as far as loading new opportunities in the system. But over the course of time, where those opportunities reside obviously might change. So depending upon if the sale has reached a point where perhaps a prospect is going to be making a decision, where earlier they were just kind of in a suspect stage, you need to move those things along. So we're going to talk about that, and let me just jump forward here to the agenda. We're going to talk about the 5 sales stages, and we're going to talk a little bit about where each opportunity belongs in a particular stage. I've created a handout which we are going to send to your office following the call this afternoon, which we'll get into a little bit more detail. It's kind of a one-page cheat sheet to help you out as far as where you should have your opportunities in your pipeline. We're also going to quickly go through how the stages can actually help you sell, which obviously is very important for all of you that are on the call today. Just some tips and suggestions about where an opportunity is and what the next stage or the next action item should be for yourself. We're going to do a little bit of a health checkup on your pipeline, and then just wrap up with some best practices, suggestions, and any Q&A that you have. So that's pretty much the schedule for today. I know it's an aggressive agenda. The call is scheduled to go about 30 minutes. Hopefully we'll have enough time on the back end, like I said, to do Q&A, and we'll start from there. So let me just move forward to the next slide here. Okay, so for everybody that's on the call, most of you are probably familiar with the 5 sales stages that we have in Salesforce for creating and managing your opportunities. The one thing I'd point out is we've really tried to simplify this as much as possible for all of our users, just to look at the typical sales process within the newspaper group and to define where a particular opportunity might reside at any given point in time. So the earliest stage that we have is what we call the account planning stage. That's on the far left-hand side here in this green box. From account planning, we go to needs analysis. From needs analysis to solution creation, then proposal meeting, and finally this last step here, negotiating, is the last point before it either goes to closed won or closed lost. So as I said earlier, one thing that we've identified is people and our users have done a terrific job as far as loading in new opportunities into Salesforce, but as far as the ongoing management, for example, if you created a new opportunity in the needs analysis stage, hopefully based on your efforts and progress that you make with the prospect, that's going to move from needs analysis to a proposal meeting or perhaps closed won. But the important thing that I just want to share and point out today is that we're trying to move all these deals forward to a point to get them to close. And on the next slide here, it gives you some idea as to what to look for with your opportunity at any particular given point in time. And this is where we seem to get the most questions from sales reps and from managers, is just to, well, what should I qualify an opportunity at before I put it into Salesforce? Where does it belong? And that's a fair question. Even though we've tried to simplify it as much as possible with just having the 5 sales stages, what we did is we looked at each stage and said, what should really be happening here with that opportunity if it's in this stage? So if you take a look at the account planning stage, the very first opportunity stage in the pipeline, essentially this is what we call as a holding space, where you've identified a new opportunity or a new proposal or prospect that you want to go after. You haven't scheduled anything yet, and you don't have any value as far as what the deal might price out to be. So it's an initial opportunity. Perhaps it's a client that you've done some business with before. You need to get in front of them, but you haven't scheduled anything with that prospect yet, but you have a relationship with them. You have some idea that there is potentially an opportunity there to be had. The next stage after that is the needs analysis stage, and you can see here in the green box, oops, I'm sorry about that, there is a meeting scheduled. So again, in account planning, no meeting has occurred yet, and there's no deal value associated with the opportunity. Needs analysis is where you have scheduled a meeting for that opportunity with the prospect. Usually it's going to be a first meeting where you're going to have the opportunity to define what the prospect's objectives are, perhaps talk a little bit about timing, what their objectives are as far as advertising, different things like that.
Excuse me, Mike?
Yeah.
Hi, this is Delia.
Hey, Delia.
I'm sorry I'm a couple minutes late. Can you let me in the meeting? Join me?
Sorry about that. I thought I opened it up for everybody here.
No problem.
Yeah,
there you
I'm
go.
trying to get in also. I'm waiting for a response there.
Okay.
There it goes.
I see your window. Thank you.
My bad. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, so needs analysis, we've covered that. Following needs analysis, we have the solution creation stage. This, again, is what I would consider to be another holding spot. You've had your first meeting with the prospect. You've got some positive feedback. They want to talk again, but at this point, maybe you're doing some work on your end as far as pricing the deal out with your manager, defining exactly what type of publication or advertisement that they want to run. Essentially, it's a point where there's some follow-up work that needs to be done on your end, and you're not at the point where you're going back to present something to the prospect. So normally what we see here would be following the needs analysis stage, you would move it to, if you are having a follow-up meeting, the solution creation stage, if there is some work that needs to be done on your part. Okay? Then after that stage, you have the proposal meeting stage, or what I would consider maybe a finals presentation. This is where the prospect has said, great, I want to get back together with you. I want to talk about the numbers. I want to talk about timing, different things like that. And you have the sense that, this is a finals type of presentation. The decision maker is going to be involved. It's going to be a go, no-go decision. And that's really what we have as far as the proposal meeting stage. A meeting is scheduled, though. So really, again, just to point out, the two areas as far as meetings for your opportunity should be needs analysis and proposal meeting. Account planning and solution creation are, again, what I would consider to be parking spots. And finally, we have this last stage, negotiation. Do we see a lot of opportunities here? No, but that's there for those situations, perhaps larger deals where contracts need to be worked on. Maybe there's some final pricing or negotiation that's occurring with the prospect, and it's moved beyond the proposal meeting stage. And that's pretty much it. After that, hopefully for all of you, it's going to be a closed won deal. You can just simply toggle it over and move it to closed won, closed lost. The other thing you can do, and it happens from time to time, is things will slide back in the pipeline. So we all know the situation. Somebody's giving you all the indications they want to move forward on the deal, but for whatever reason they flake out or timing is wrong, something comes up. You can always navigate the opportunity backwards. Again, we hope for everybody it's always moving forward, but there's no issue as far as downgrading an opportunity to an earlier stage. We're good with that? Mm-hmm. Any questions? Okay, good. Okay, so here's a slide that I put together that I really think it ties it all together. Very simple, straightforward. And essentially what you see here is the 5 stages across the top in Salesforce. This is just a sample pipeline that I've set up for myself. And then these little green arrows just pretty much shows you the milestone directly underneath as far as what you should be looking for or what might be happening at that particular point in time. So from account planning to needs analysis, schedule a meeting. From needs analysis to solution creation, you're probably developing a proposal. from the solution creation to the next stage, scheduling a meeting, and then finally negotiating, getting approval, and final sign-off. So pretty straightforward. You can always, take a look at these slides if you ever have any question about where an opportunity should be. But again, working with the sales managers and different people in the various newspaper locations, these 4 milestones seem to be consistent for all of our offices as far as what might be happening with a deal in the pipeline and what's the next logical event that we would expect to occur. Okay, so one thing that I thought I'd share with everybody today, and this is again perhaps just a little bit of a, a review for those of you that are already actively managing your pipelines, and maybe for some of you that are on the call that are new to Salesforce, it will just be a, hey, I don't know how to get a proposal or a prospect from point A to point B. So what I'm showing right now on the screen is the Kanban view, and this is my own pipeline, which I'm sure everybody is familiar with this view, and it's essentially detailing what opportunities I have in each of the various stages in my pipeline.
Good luck.
The one that I highlighted here in green is the deal, the 4th of July sale. And I'm sorry, everybody. I'm just going to mute the line because we have some background noise.
Gym membership.
Nope. Sounds like that's not going to work right now. So again, I would just ask everybody, if you're on the call right now, if you could please mute your phone. That would be very helpful. So this opportunity here, the 4th of July sale, all I'm doing in this example is I'm going to click on this opportunity from the Kanban view, and it will immediately open up the entire opportunity. And as you can see, just looking at this one, I'm in the needs analysis stage, so the second stage. I don't have anything as far as a new meeting set up yet, but I did connect with the prospect, and I want to schedule a meeting with them. So again, I went from the Kanban view, I clicked on the 4th of July opportunity, and it's taken me to this point here, which is I need to now schedule a proposal meeting with this prospect. So all I need to do is click on activity and type in proposal meeting, which I have already here. My bad. And then I'm going to click on the stage and move it to mark as complete. So essentially, it's a two-step process from moving it from needs analysis. I create the proposal meeting, I click on the proposal meeting stage, and I mark it as complete, and everything is updated for me. Okay. Now, that's essentially it. So everything that I talked about as far as looking at your opportunities in the Kanban view, selecting an opportunity that you want to update, how to update it and move it across the pipeline, we've done in about 5 minutes. All of that information that I just went through, you can do from your desktop. But the other thing I want to share for those of you that haven't taken a look at this yet, I would really encourage you to do so, is take a look at Salesforce One, which is the mobile application. And everything that we just went through as far as what you can do with Salesforce on your desktop, if you download this app, you can pretty much do the same thing from your smartphone. So again, as far as time, efficiency, just making the most use of your day. If you're out on the road and you have a call with a prospect, or you just get a call from somebody saying, hey, I want to meet with you next week, can we set up a time? Everything that we just went through, you can do that on the smartphone with Salesforce One. So I would suggest, if you haven't already, go to your app store, download Salesforce One, and again, just sign up for it, and it's going to update your pipeline just like it would if you were working from your desktop.
Yeah, we're in process on that one.
All right, so just a couple more slides here, and then we're going to open the lines up for Q&A. The one thing that we've been hearing more about is really trying to help reps and help managers understand the opportunities that you have in your pipeline and exactly how they score out as far as the value of those opportunities to your goal. Okay? And this slide I've put together, which again is an example, what we've done here is we've totaled the total opportunities that I have for myself in each stage of the pipeline. So from account planning to needs analysis, solution creation, right up to negotiation. Now, when you set up an opportunity in Salesforce, you'll see that there's always a default probability that's associated with a deal at that particular stage. And these percentages that you see underneath each stage is the default amount for probabilities that you have. So when we talk about doing like a pipeline health checkup, what we're really looking at is how much do you have in each stage of the pipeline? And if you just take the total dollar values, which again with Salesforce, especially with the Kanban view, it's very easy to get those numbers. All you have to do is look at the very top of your pipeline, and they automatically sum up for you. And just to run through those numbers as far as what the probabilities are.
I'm on it.
So as you can see here, I have 125,000 in account planning, 95,000 in proposal meeting, and 72 in negotiating. If you just work with the standard probability of closing those deals in the pipeline, the dollar values in the third green bar here is essentially what would flow out of the back end. Certainly things can change, right? I mean, hopefully for everybody that gets to the proposal meeting stage, you have a better batting average than 50%. So instead of the 47.5, let's hope everybody's batting 1,000, and that actually translates into $95,000. But these are the baseline probability numbers. And if you just sum all of these up, it comes out to $258,200, just if we kept at our average batting average for this particular point in time. Again, it's one of these things that people ask me from time to time again, how can I use Salesforce as far as checking how I'm producing relative to my goal? And I think this is a very fair way to look at it. A lot of times what you'll see, and in this particular analysis, is that I'm very light in the account planning and needs analysis stage, right? Or maybe not so much needs analysis, but certainly on the account planning stage, I always want to have a pretty big number here because I know on average, a lot of those deals probably aren't going to get all the way over to here to be closed won. So I really need to ramp up as far as lead generation, as far as getting some meetings, getting in front of prospects. What this tells me here in needs analysis is that I've done a pretty good job converting opportunities from account planning or to needs analysis, or better yet, I'm actually qualifying and getting the appointment up front. So rather than waiting around for maybe somebody to call me back or just touching base with an email, I'm calling in, I'm getting that meeting up front with the prospect. So I've got a decent bucket here in needs analysis. But this is something that, again, I would suggest everybody to do after our call this afternoon, or if you have some downtime later this week, go into Salesforce and take a look at your top-line numbers in your Kanban view. And then if you just work with those numbers based on the probability, it should give you a pretty good indication as to what your opportunities translate into as far as your overall production goal.
Even on your phone. They just need it.
Any questions as far as this slide?
No, it's a free app.
Okay, we're doing well.
They will charge you for other apps. You already have an account on the phone. Just sign into that one. Yeah.
Okay, so just some review of the topics that we covered today. One, as far as the clarity around your goals and objectives. With the stages, again, what you just really want to concentrate on there are the milestones. So whether it's setting up the meeting, scheduling with the prospect, 2, generating the proposal, 3, the follow-up meeting or finals presentation, and then negotiation, closed won or closed lost. It will shorten the sales cycle. A lot of times I know that for myself, I was in sales for a long time. You're kind of struggling, where am I going with this prospect? If you just stick to those milestones as far as what you're trying to accomplish, getting the meeting and getting the proposal on the table, hopefully you'll find that it actually keeps you on track and keeps those deals moving along quicker. The third benefit, again, something that I'm sure most of you spend some time each week with your manager on, is just where are the opportunities in your pipeline. You want to make sure that at any given point in time, if a manager asks you or they have the same information in front of them, hey, this deal that you have with XYZ company, it seems like you were telling me it was further along. So you want to make sure that the opportunities are accurate as far as where they are in the sales stage. And that really ties into number 4 as far as keeping your managers abreast of the information on those deals. And finally, 5, establishing clear milestones at each stage of the pipeline. I don't think it could be any clearer. We're certainly, backing up what we shared with you when we were doing training as far as trying to keep this simple, trying to help you stay on track with the deals. And as far as what those milestones are, the meetings, proposals, negotiation, it's pretty straightforward and to the point. So we are just at about 3:25 right now. I know these sessions are kind of quick, and like I said earlier, we will be sending out this PowerPoint to your local administrators, and I'll be happy to open it up here in a second for any questions that you might have. And just again, for those of you that are new, if you do have any questions, we do have local support for you in each of our offices. So for those of you up in Connecticut, we have Delia. For anybody in San Antonio, Beverly Thomas can help you out. Our Albany office is covered by Richard Hale. We have Vicky in Beaumont and Amir in San Francisco. So certainly if anything comes up, you're stuck on a particular thing, you have a question about opportunities or stage, anything we covered at all, feel free to reach out to any of these individuals and they'll be happy to help you. If it's something that needs to get elevated, Angela or myself are talking to these folks pretty much on a daily basis. So we are here to support you. We certainly want to make every effort to help you close more deals. Anything we can do in that regard, please let us know or let your local support staff know, and we'll do what we can to help you folks out and bring in more business, which is what it's all about. So that's the last slide I had for the session this afternoon. We're just at about 3:30 here, so I'll just open the phone line up to Q&A and start that now.
So, I told them I thought the reps could use it.
Hello, this is Ryan here, and I had a question.
Yeah, sure.
If you can hear me okay.
So,
I can hear you fine. Unfortunately, there's some background noise, and I apologize for that, but go right ahead.
Okay, so I am very new to all of the Salesforce, and I'm wondering really what's the best way to go about, well, one, managing it, just different accounts and different opportunities and leads that we have. If you have any tips or tricks for prioritizing, or how many days should go by before you reach out to somebody, or just really any tips you have there.
Yeah, sure. No, I guess the first suggestion I would make, and perhaps you've already spent some time with your manager, is to talk to them about, well, typically what's your expectation as far as when should I load an opportunity into Salesforce? So a lot of times it might just be, hey, if you have a meeting with a prospect, that should be loaded as an opportunity in Salesforce. If you have a relationship with a company, perhaps somebody referred you to a company that's interested or might be interested in scheduling some time with you, I would probably set that up as like an account planning opportunity in your pipeline. All right, so you want to get it in as soon as you know that there's some type of interest on the part of the prospect, right? And that's why we have that account planning stages. There's something there, right? Now, you don't have a meeting set up yet, but maybe you're scheduled to reach out to the business owner in the next couple days or so, or you've been exchanging emails and you just haven't had a chance to connect yet. From there, once it's in the account planning stage, again, I think it's pretty straightforward. If you get a meeting set up, you want to move it to the next stage, which is needs analysis. You have a great
Okay.
meeting, move it to the next stage, which is, and it needs analysis going to proposal meeting to negotiation, what have you. So I hope that answers your question. Certainly
It does. Thank you.
talk to your manager, but I don't want to say it's never too early to get opportunities loaded into Salesforce, but certainly if you have some type of level of interest, you want that account to be loaded in for you.
Okay, excellent. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I have a question. This
Sure.
is one, Danbury. In terms of the activity and the notes, currently the way I have it set up is they show up on the right-hand side there, and obviously it's just an abbreviated version. Is it possible to have that modify to be able to see the full note without clicking into it?
So, do you know what screen that are you actually looking just at the? I'm going to try to bring something up here.
Yes, I'm in an account right now.
Okay.
And just looking at the activity for that particular.
And is it giving you just kind of like an abbreviated view or something, like the first couple lines of the note?
Mm-hmm.
As far as I know, you would have to click on that to open up the entire note history there on that particular thing. But if you like, I could follow up with you on that. What office are you in?
Danbury.
Danbury?
Is this one?
Yes.
I was talking about this a little while ago. Yeah, I could, Mike, it's things I noticed too with the notes and stuff is with the dates. It would be helpful if it gave like the year as well, because sometimes these accounts have been inactive for a while and you can't tell and also who did the activity, like who has been acting on the account. That would be helpful to see in that list abbreviated view as well. But yeah, I had told Steve I was going to find out if there's any way we could edit the view of that, but it doesn't sound like there is at this point.
I'm not familiar with it, but you know what I'd be interested in, Delia, is maybe at some point later this week or next, I can just take a look at your view, just so I can understand exactly what you're looking at and if there is anything we can do. But
I think what Stephen and what Juan were referring to is just to be able to see a little bit more details on the screen before clicking into everything individually, if I understand correctly. And because that's one of the differences I've noticed between Salesforce Classic and the new Salesforce Lightning is that Salesforce Classic sort of packed more information on each page, even though the text was smaller. And I think some people liked having all that information in one place. That's all.
Yeah, that's actually what I brought it up, because now that I'm on the advanced team, I'll be using obviously Salesforce a lot more, and because they're using Classic, they have they're able to have the account and be able to see all the notes.
It's a great observation. It's something that we have heard from people, and I completely understand what you're saying. Classic does give you a lot more information, kind of in certain views, where Lightning is much more streamlined. And what we're really trying to deliver there is the information to you that is actionable. Right, so not to overwhelm a sales rep with a lot of data or fields that are not really applicable to the sales process. So notes, though, that I could certainly understand why that's important. You want to look at the history and get some background before you pick up the phone and call an account. So let me speak to Delia and my colleague Angela just to see if we're talking about the same thing here, and if there is anything we can do, we'll certainly take a look at it for you.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
When will the next version of Salesforce come out? Is that spring or summer?
The next one will be in the spring.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, do they take suggestions or whatever from the users? They
do. Yeah, you can vote on things. You can elevate them to or vote them up is what they call it. So.
I mean, I know it comes from a higher level than
Yeah,
myself.
like a good example of that is how the navigation bar has switched back to more of a horizontal view where, for those of you that are still on the call, when we rolled Lightning out, it was on the left-hand side of the screen, and now they've oriented back to a landscape view across the top. And I think a lot of that had to do with feedback.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a good tweak.
Other questions or anything that we covered today that you'd like additional information on, or? Okay, so thank you again for your time this afternoon. I hope everybody is at least able to come away with this with a better understanding of opportunity stages, and perhaps even some of you have a good sense of how to apply the stages in keeping deals moving forward. Again, I'll say it one more time. We will circulate this out to all the local administrators to your office. If you'd like a copy, just send them an email, and they'll pass that along to you. So thanks again for your time, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care.
Great. Thanks, Mike.
Take care.